Breaking news. I sent Jerry Falwell a sincere request to pray with us at the Lynchburg Revival. His response, a letter threatening up to a year in jail and a $2,500 fine if we attempt to pray on campus at Liberty University, even with students and alumni. Here are both letters. That's the way Shane Claiborne started out his tweet storm aimed at Jerry Falwell Jr. And the way I found out about it is a friend of mine posted on Facebook. Shane Claiborne asked to pray with Jerry Falwell Jr. He threatened arrest. A lot of people chimed in. As you can see, thousands of people shared the tweet. Many people chimed in saying, Falwell is Satan and all of those kinds of things. And I remember reading through those and seeing all these people. Is he a Christian? Why can he do this? How dare the church treat somebody else like this? And the impression is that Shane Claiborne is innocent. He went innocently to Jerry Falwell Jr., said, hey, can we pray, man? All I want to do is pray. And Jerry Falwell, for no reason whatsoever, just out of the blue, threatened to arrest him and come. And I began reading through the responses. A lot of people were angry, and I got into one that said, you know what? You guys aren't telling the whole story. Shane, you need to be a little more honest. And so I started to do some research, and it does turn out there's more to the story than is being told. Even 3 hours ago, there was a tweet that Shane sent out saying, you know what, don't miss the irony. A school called Liberty, famous for championing religious freedom, passionate about making sure people can pray in public schools, threatened to arrest us for praying on campus. The devil made him, I don't know. There is some history there. And Shane, in the interest of transparency, really should have said something about this. See, it seems last year a guy named Jonathan Martin, who's a writer, a speaker, an activist with Red Letter Christians, which is Shane's organization, he is extremely critical of Liberty University and very critical and calls out Jerry Falwell Jr. fairly often. He was banned from campus last year due to security concerns. Now, there was some back and forth, and nobody knows exactly what happened. Liberty students have said something, and he said some other things, and Jerry said it was just for security concerns. You're free to read into that. But he was slated to speak at the event that coincides with this prayer request. Well, and before the prayer request, the innocent little prayer request, Shane tweeted, honestly, about Jerry Falwell Jr., this is some of the worst theology I've ever heard, and this heresy is from the president of the largest Christian university in the world. This is Shane talking about Jerry Falwell Jr. Oh, maybe there is a little history. So Shane then goes on to say things like this to all of his followers publicly on Twitter. If we were to organize a Lynchburg Revival, this peaceful event, where there's preaching, worship, and prophetic action that challenged, get this, the toxic evangelism of Jerry Falwell Jr., would you come? He says, too, he goes on to say, hey, he's responding to somebody. He says, that's exactly where we want to have it, in Lynchburg, Virginia. He says, in the belly of the beast, Lynchburg, Virginia. He says, that's exactly where we want to have it. He's talking about Lynchburg, Virginia, where Liberty University is. He calls it the belly of the beast. Maybe it wasn't an innocent petition for prayer after all. Maybe it's PR, which I have no problem with, but don't act innocent. He says in another tweet, we're going to Virginia to revival to protest. Get this, it's now a protest, not an innocent revival, not an innocent request for prayer, to protest the toxic Christianity. And this was said on YouTube. This is obviously a protest, a rally against Falwell and against Liberty University. Shane, why didn't you include that? What's interesting, too, is a lot of people were following this, a lot of people were chiming in, and I think people don't like when Christians fight. Because he keeps saying this massive revival's planned. Even after the event, massive revival, he quotes, and he points back to, and 150 people showed up the first night. That's not massive by any means. It looked like from pictures, although there's no verification, that even less or about the same showed up the second night. I think, and this is just personal opinion, that when you organize a movement about this that's supposed to be pure and innocent and really about lifting Jesus up, as he said, and about prayer, I think the deceptive practices that really are more practices that you'll get with Republicans and Democrats, and I think they call the whole movement into question. And I think they call Shane Claiborne's motives into question. And honestly, I don't see how Shane can continue to go and continue to push this narrative when he knows he's got to know it's wrong. So if someone publicly called you a heretic, called your school the belly of the beast, and said, hey, let's meet on your campus to pray, and then accused you when you said no of not wanting to pray with a fellow Christian, come on, Shane. It's time to come clean, isn't it?